Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope that you are all well. Bonjour, bon dia. It's really a pleasure to have you with us for this first session of the UNWTO Month of Tourism and African Gastronomy. 25th of May will mark African Day, and for us, it was a perfect occasion to bring a discussion on a very important topic for the tourism development of Africa. Each week, we will be here with you talking about different topics from how to enhance the value of gastronomy tourism in Africa, but also women empowerment, the farm to table links and local products, how to benefit from rural destinations into the gastronomy development, but also to spread the benefits of tourism. So many topics, and I do hope that you can follow us and join us on this journey through the flavors of Africa during this month. I will not take more of your time because I think we have an amazing panel with us, and I'm sure we're going to learn a lot, and we're going to be like already taking notes on what we want to eat next in our trip to Africa. So without any further delays, I will like to invite my colleague, Elsie Grancourt. She's the Regional Director for Africa at the World Tourism Organization, to address you this morning.
Thank you very much, Sandra, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and greetings from Windhoek, Namibia, where I am connecting today. And Sandra, I got the chance to already taste the local cuisine here. And in fact, this is one of the countries where the Secretary General first launched the brochure, which is part of the initiative of the Africa Gastronomy, when he visited last year, and we met with Chef Nelson. And of course, earlier within last year, when we had our commission meeting, we launched the brochure to Seychelles. And today I'm very happy to see a dear friend, also Chef Joubert, but also all the familiar faces of our panelists that have joined today. Sandra, I realize that we have a full panelist of men. You mentioned about women empowerment, but of course we have women featured also as chefs. It shows also that we are moving from just this profession being dominated by male within that sector. But for me, it was just to re-emphasize on the importance that our Secretary General attaches on the topic of gastronomy. It's part of the bigger thematic that we have on our agenda for Africa, which is advocating brand Africa. And we've been able to cross a first milestone with the gastronomy book. Then we moved together with Voyage Afrique, who today is represented by Mr. Kojo, with the different interviews with the chefs across to continue to promote specifically African gastronomy across the board. And also going forward, as Sandra mentioned, within the month of May, because we will mark also the Africa Day on the 25th of May. That is why we thought it fitting to use this month to really promote our cuisine and make known the people that are behind bringing those lovely meals on the table whenever we visit one destination. So for me, it was really to re-emphasize the importance that we are attaching to this thematic. And we really thank you for those of you who's participated in the events that we've launched since we embarked on this journey. And I am excited also today to listen to the different conversations and in also the various series that will follow this session today. So Sandra, back over to you, and I'm looking forward to today's session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elsie. As Elsie said, this is the first of various sessions, and it fits the Africa agenda that has been led by UNWTO Secretary General in identifying pillars of strengthening the image of Africa, and gastronomy definitely is one of them. We have seen how gastronomy has gained an immense space in public interest, but also in recent years, we've also seen how it has become one of the major drivers of tourists going around the world, and also an immense opportunity to actually bring the value of local products and local knowledge to the tourism sector, enriching the experience, because at the end of the day, and even more now with COVID, what we all look for is a unique experience that we can take back home with very fond memories. With that said, I have the pleasure of having a fantastic panel with me today. I have with me Chef Ricardo Elton. Bon dia. He's from Angola.
Bon
he's
dia.
heading
Hello.
the largest business group in Angola's restaurant sector. Ricardo, it's a pleasure to have you with us. We also have from a fantastic island, the Seychelles chef Fabien Joubert. He's responsible for the Seychelles Tourism Academy. Chef Fabien, very good morning. Bonjour, bienvenue.
Thank you for having me. Merci.
We also have with us Axel Makbecha, is the co-founder of Chefs in Africa, an amazing initiative that brings together chefs to learn from each other, to implement different projects. So we'll hear from him what are their priorities and how they're working. And on the other side, because obviously the objective is to link gastronomy and tourism, we are very pleased to have the CEO of the Ghana Tourism Authority, Mr. Akwasi, with us. A very warm welcome. And also we have with us the representative of the Morocco Tourism Organization. Couscous has been recently nominated as a World Heritage, so a fantastic news for our gastronomy. So a very warm welcome to everyone. Today's session, we called it co-creating a vision. So with that in mind, what I would like to start by asking, and I'll probably start with Chef Ricardo, is how do you see this path going forward? How can we work better together between the tourism sector and gastronomy so that we can actually benefit each other?
Good morning, everybody, and I'm from Angola, and I'm very pleasure to be here with all of you. It's an honor. And about your question, it's all these years I receive normally products for all the countries, like in continents like Asia, like Europe, like America. And I ask all the time, how can I brand or have a positioning with African products, the national products, to go to Europe or to Asia? I think one of the things then we need to try. Imagine that in Angola, we have the cassava flour, the palm oil, and the dried fish. Then it's one of the best creations that Africa have. It's the dried fish. Then it never go. We can use dried fish for 6 months, but in Europe, imagine anybody knows how to do it. And imagine if we can all prepare a very nice image of branding and create a very good logo with like when we receive Parmigiano Reggiano from Italy, when we receive products from Asia like the noodles. We create a product in Africa to export to all Europe. So they will start already to know our products. They will start already to have the curiosity to come to Africa. And when they arrive in here, they already know our gastronomy. And it's not something new for them, because normally, when we go to Asia, we already know that they have the soy sauce. They use normally the other sauce. But I ask you this: if the Europe knows some national products from Namibia, from South Africa, from Nigeria, from Angola, they don't know. And I think to start a very nice project of gastronomy, we need to send our products, our national products. But the problem is, how can we send the products without a very good positioning? How can we send the products with a very good project of branding? I think, and I have this project here in Angola. I start 2 months ago with a very big group in here to create our products, like when we receive the rice from Portugal, like when we receive the cheese from France. Why they cannot receive our products in Angola? Because we have, imagine, the potato branch dried. It's a very good snack. And I saw then it's a very nice start to send to everybody information that in Africa, in Angola, our gastronomy is rich. It have so many proteins, and we can already start with go to a supermarket in Asia, in Europe, and see products like they see their products. Imagine, but but it's African products. Then they can eat with a very nice beef, a very nice dish of chicken, and I think to bring our gastronomy to all over the world, in my vision, I think we can start with this.
Thank you very much, Ricardo. I think it's a very interesting point on the storytelling of the African products outside, and also the branding. I think, as you said, linking that with the image of Africa and going forward. And I know that in Chefs in Africa, this is definitely one of their objectives, is to do that placement. So Axel, I'll come to you to ask you, how do you see this vision? You have obviously your vision at Chefs in Africa. How can we work better together with the tourism sector to also make that vision move forward?
Thank you, Sandra, for this speaking. Then I'm really happy today because you have different and several chefs, like Ricardo just said, come from Angola, and it's just a representation of what Africa is like a diversity. And this diversity, as I will say, is a strength for Africa. Is one of the strength and the pillar for Africa. Is diversity of people, is diversity of product, diversity of technique, and diversity of, like I will say, we'll use all these diversity to impulse ourselves. The idea of gastronomy is to connect people, food, and culture. And these three mix together and make sense for us. And as you just mentioned about tourism, what is tourism? Is culture that we share with other people. Is a sharing. Then this connection, as just Chef Ricardo mentioned, this create this connection with food is something natural, I would say. And you could travel. Just imagine during this time of pandemic, you could travel, you could live an experience at home. You could make a part of your experience with food. That's why food create link, and this link is not something that we only need to come to the local place. Yes, the thing that is great to come to the local place is to connect with the local people and to impulse also development, as I mentioned earlier before about the impact of tourism on rural development, impact with the local population, and how we could around the gastronomy create a field that help people to grow in themselves, help young people and ladies to create their own economy to take care of themselves and also contribute to the national GDP. The idea of taking tourism as a real business, I will say, understand the importance of tourism as a major ministry in our state, need to be something, need to be an emergency, I will say, because most of the time I'm coming from Cameroon. Most of the time, because with chefs in Africa, we have the opportunity to travel across Africa. Some of the time we are pleased to have, like I will say, the major ministry or major education, but some of them are not connected, or I will say are not directly taking tourism as a major thing on their landscape. But if we create connection between the tourism sector and the global environment and their impact in terms of business, I will say we will have more value around tourism than offshore taking care of gastronomy as a part of our heritage, because it's a part of it.
Thank you very much, Axel. I think I love the point that you said tourism is culture we share with other people. I think that's a fantastic definition of tourism, and also the urgency of having more collaboration between tourism and the gastronomy ecosystem. With that said, I'm moving to a country where tourism is the backbone of the economy, with Chef Flavien working exactly to link those two worlds in the academy. And with that experience, Chef Flavien, how do you see this being strengthened, as Axel was saying?
Yes, indeed. I actually will add on the comments that he made regarding the gastronomy, the culinary of the African countries. For me, it is something which we need to look for in the future, because my first experience with the African gastronomy was very late in life, because I spent most of my time studying and working in Europe. And apart from the Seychelles cuisine at the time, I thought that we were, of course, the best in Africa, until I got the opportunity for me to travel as a chef to Kenya, to Zambia, to Malawi, and even to South Africa. And to my surprise, like Chef Ricardo just said earlier, when we were not officially on the webinar, regarding the insects, the gastronomy of insects and gastronomy of the different African delicacies. When I was in Africa, what I saw, I mean, when I say Africa, I mean the big continent itself, what I saw was all the street foods, which of course are very, very tasty and very nicely cooked in the streets. They were being sold very, very cheap, and the locals and even all the tourists were buying them. But what surprised me was when I went to the five-star hotels, I saw the same culinary being presented on these large plates to the tourist, just like the French do it in Nouvelle Cuisine. And I said, wow, my God, we are very rich in gastronomy here. So returning back to the Seychelles, I realized that we have a lot of fish here in the Seychelles. And in the past, we used to eat fish from Monday to Saturday, and we only had chicken or beef or pork during the weekend. So fish is our main delicacy, but we were cooking the fish in the way which our grandparents showed us only. And I thought, well, this is a way whereby I can show the world, show the tourists, link our culinary to the tourism by creating local recipes, tasty recipes, and sharing it with the hotels and the restaurants and my students for us to put it as a marketing tool when we do our marketing. And I wrote my first book on fish culinary and exotic seafood from the Seychelles. in the year 2000, it was published in France. We actually produced about 6,000 copies, and to our surprise, it was gone within 3 months, bought by the tourists coming to the Seychelles, bought by the local people themselves, and also used by the Ministry of Tourism in the marketing campaign. And what we have seen, tourists coming to the Seychelles now, most of the tourists arriving will ask when they check in, where is the best Creole restaurant? When I say Creole restaurant, I mean our Creole culture, Creole food, Creole gastronomy, which has this connection with the African gastronomy. So I can see us moving forward with gastronomy, making tourism one of I can say, at the moment for us in the Seychelles, it is our bread and butter. But even with COVID, promoting the gastronomy, I think it will take us even much further.
Thank you very much, Chef Flavien. That's also an interesting moment now during COVID, where unfortunately a lot of us are at our homes or obviously cannot travel, and many destinations, and I saw many chefs as well doing live cooking, and I think that's a fantastic way to promote gastronomy, the destination, and entice that relationship with the people which cannot travel for the moment. I think also what you said is very interesting, which is making information and products available to tourists when they come to the destination, because this is critical, because at the end of the day, you need to provide that information to tourists. They need to be able to have a receipt book that they can take home, but also something of the local products that can easily be transported and everyone likes to take as a souvenir. And I think your point of the first thing people ask now is where to best eat something is becoming very, very common. So there's also an important point of training hotel staff on knowing more about the local gastronomy, because they will be also the hand between the gastronomy services and often the client. With that said, I'd like to move to the representatives that we have with us from Ghana and Morocco. And I'll start with Morocco, because we all imagine immediately a fantastic couscous and many other things. And the positioning has been very strong. So I'd like to ask you, how do you take gastronomy as part of your marketing strategy, and for you, what does work and what is missing still to make it a stronger asset in that communication?
You know, we have conducted a major study covering almost all our markets during the pandemics, and indeed gastronomy has been identified like the first activity that people do during their trips or their experience in a country. So I think that the link between gastronomy and tourism is kind of visceral. It comes from within. As when people do travel, there's a big majority of them who want to experience the destination as a local, as the other colleague said. And the easiest and the first way to discover a culture is to live as a local. And this is by tasting the local gastronomy and the cuisine. And as you said, the Moroccan cuisine is very rich, actually. And I think that the cuisine encapsulate not only the flavor of the country, the spices, the taste, but also the art de vivre, the millennial tradition, and the unique know-hows. And again, gastronomy and cuisine, like in a family, is the moment when we gather. And I think that this is something that was said by the other colleagues. When people go to a destination, they want to meet other people. So it's the perfect way to meet locals, to socialize together, and have an intense, enriching, and fascinating experience. And it is also a way to connect with others, as said Mr. Mbecha. And I would say food is the best way to connect, actually.
Thank you very much for that highlight of the links between the role of tourism in getting people together, and obviously the role of food. How do you see it in Morocco? Obviously, you have an immense variety and also a strong positioning already of your gastronomy. What are your plans moving forward in linking tourism and gastronomy?
Well, the link is as I said, very visceral. Do you hear me? As I said, the link is something that we see from within, and all our strategy now is to promote the gastronomy, not as an activity or something that we can do in a travel, but as a real product, maybe and this is our strategy for the post-COVID period, is it's good to go ahead and to really create contents about food, about the gastronomy, and about all the dishes and the variety of dishes we have, for example, in Morocco, and this is what we will tackle in the next few months and the next few years.
Thank you very much. Definitely, the issue of content creation is very important, because there's so much, but how do we create that content to reach the market
and broadcast it as well, because
exactly.
This is the aim.
Exactly. How do we make, as Chef Ricardo was saying in the beginning, people in other destinations think about those products and that experience. And well, from our side, we're all very much looking forward for Marrakesh. We're having our General Assembly there in October, so very much looking for that experience. Thank you very much.
And we look forward to it as well.
Thank you. I'd like to go now from Morocco to Ghana. Mr. Akwazi, it's a pleasure to have you with us. And I'd like to hear, in the case of Ghana, how do you see that link between gastronomy and tourism? And how do you tackle it in the Ghana Tourism Authority?
All right, thank you very much, and welcome to Ghana. As we all know, gastronomy is becoming an important segment of tourism, especially for destinations like Ghana that play around the cultural space. Food is a key ingredient of the culture of every destination. And so for us, it's important that we try and mainstay food with cultural offerings. And so over the years, we've worked very closely with the Chefs Association to try and position Ghana as a destination for gastronomy tourism. If you look at the jollof wars between Ghana and Nigeria, within the sub-region, I think we've all tried to play up the unique offerings that we have, using jollof, for example, as a key driver, and also trying to bring value to the offerings. I think what is quite critical for us in looking to the future is how we can help develop the offerings that we have. If you go to a lot of the international brand hotels that we have, you don't see a lot of the offerings that we have. Yes, they will probably offer jollof, they will offer a few of the local dishes, but by and large try to provide a lot of European and other continental dishes. And so for us at the Tourism Authority, what we've tried to do is to work with the various chefs associations in developing the products that we have, i.e. the various foods. Look at the inventory of what we even have. I mean, if you take Ghana as a country of 16 regions with various food offerings, then it's important that we don't just focus on one or two. So taking an inventory of the food offerings that we have is critical. We are also seeing gastronomy as a value add for our offerings, especially when it comes to things like mice, and also trying to offer several value addeds to business tourists that are coming into the destination. And so inventory is critical. The degree of development has to be improved, and then also integration with our offerings. And so the question that I keep asking myself is, will somebody travel to Ghana just for food? And the answer is yes and no. Yes, we have a unique food offering, but no, because there may be other reasons why people come to Ghana, but then if food is offered, then it becomes a value added. You also see the trend where there are a lot of African restaurants opening up in several of our source markets. And so for somebody in America, for example, who will want to come to Ghana, will they come just for food? Because in most of the big cities in the US, you have Ghanaian restaurants over there. And so that probably will not be the key driver. But it's important that we try and integrate along the value chain, along the various tourism and hospitality businesses, see that food and gastronomy becomes a critical input.
Thank you very much. I think that's two key points that you made. One of them is definitely the integration of local food in hotel chains, and to work on the offering and the quality, and together with the hotel chains to, first of all, expand their offer of local food, ensuring obviously the quality that they need to, but at the same time that helps producers to have that quality in mind. And also the mice sector, I think that's a very interesting point. And the last one on if people travel for gastronomy, I think that's a question for the whole sector. Some people will travel specifically maybe to go to a specific restaurant because they're total foodies and this is an objective they have, and then they will explore the destination. But as you say, I think the majority of people travels to a destination with other purposes, and the more we can cater for improving the offer and enticing them to explore it, the better. So I think that's a very important point on how we approach it from a tourism sector point of view. There's a question on the chat that I'll share with the panel, probably more for the chefs. And the question is, what is the panel's opinion regarding the barriers that exist to register local ingredients in terms of geographical indications or protected designations of origin for African destinations? So I don't know, Chef Ricardo, if you wanna take that one in terms of what you see in Angola.
Thank you for the question. I starting with something that it happened in Luanda, who is the city of Angola. Every time then you go to a supermarket to buy some groceries that you need, all the Angolan products, they are on the very small place, without any very nice information. And normally, I work for the largest group in restaurants in here, and also we have supermarkets. And the first time then I go for one of our supermarkets, I started to speak with the manager, and I say, how you invite me to come to your supermarket as a chef, and the Angolan products are in a very small corner without any information, and they are the best products that we have in here on your supermarket. They don't have any chemics. They don't have nothing. They are very fresh products. And I normally use all these products in my restaurants. And even today, I waiting for his answer about this. And I create a strategy in all restaurants. We have in here the cassava flour. We do a pasta that we call funge. If I serve the funge with the chicken, it's kind of chicken masala, but with palm oil. Our European clients or Asian clients, there are the important persons that they have companies in here. They run oil companies. They don't gonna eat. They don't gonna try. I tell you, as a chef, I work on this industry. This year, it will be 15 years, and they don't gonna eat. But I speak with all my team. Normally, I chat too much with my team, and we agreed that we need to create a plan. So I go to see all the international dishes, and I change the products. I never do imagine duck confit. I use the national chicken, then we call galinha rija, and it's a chicken very, very bad. But normally all the Angolan use for the agricultures, they use this kind of chicken, and everybody say, wow, they have so much flavor. It's a umami flavor. I have clients, Italian clients, that normally they go to the restaurant only to eat this kind of dishes. It's like when the organization give me the opportunity to be on the book, because I use a risotto with the tortuglio. That then is a dried mushroom, and the real thing, it's now we have a very good clients then try all the products, and they ask when I can buy your national products to take to my country, because my wife need to try this. My son love mushroom, and they need to try a dried mushrooms because they have the very good flavor. And the problem is, I tell them, you need to go to our national supermarkets, and it's on the street foods or on the street markets, and they don't go, because normally that they say the street markets, they are not safe, and this is the truth. And I think that we need to go to the street markets and bring the products to the real supermarkets, to the real big companies. Then they have the marketeer machine working, so how all the continents can have this opportunity. I think this is the plan.
Thank you very much, Chef Ricardo. I don't know, Axel, if you want to take that as well, in terms of we know that the denominations of origin and the recognition of certain products obviously bring an added value to the competitiveness of the product, but also to the positioning. And I'm sure this is something that in your organization is a major issue. So
Yes.
Axel, if you want to take that as well.
Thank you so much. Definitely, it's a major issue in terms of geographical indication. Then like in few days, I have a discussion here in France. Then we will discuss about the geographical indication, specifically the Penja paper. This is one of the first one had it, and it was part of the French Development Agency plan. Then this specific product, as now we have several one across Africa. We have I think it's I think it's a cow from Mozambique. I guess yes. We have in Morocco saffron for tallowing saffron, and we have some of these geographical indication really powerful already existed, and now the ambition is to also to as I will say, I join Mr. Akwasi is about inventory. Is inventory of product first, after inventory of food, then all the I will say all the transformation of those products. It could be on several category. It could be regarding the regional aspect, because each region, each culture have a specific way to transform a same product, because it's go with their root, with their background. And taking in account, I think is something it's a major issue. Then this issue of geographical indication also is part of the marketing aspect, as Chef Ricardo said. Food marketing is go with to know about what is your adding value of your product, what make your product, what is the differentiation, I will say, what is the position and your differentiation regarding your competitor, because it's a market. If it's a food market, what is your differentiation factor? And also to know what make you unique, what make you unique on your food or on your process that you want to deliver or to propose to other people. And you need to find your unique selling proposition. If on your food offer, if on your marketing strategy for your because as you say, food is a adding value, but as I say, it's an ecosystem. Everything is connected, everything is connected and is turned as an ecosystem. And if you say that, okay, I know that everything is connected, and I know on all these ecosystems, sometimes I could have, I will say, some trend, but I need to know what is my strengths. And I will build my unique selling proposition in terms of how I will position myself as as a winner of the Jollof battle. Then that's the way.
Thank you very much, Axel. I think that's a very interesting point on the inventory first, and then the added value of the nominations, obviously, apologies, and the added value that that label can bring, if identified, recognized, but also we were talking about.
I think we have an organization, because we have Origins. The name is Origins, which is a Swiss organization. Then they work with the YPO, the world, the YPO around the geographical indication. And one of the things that we really want to push as a chef in Africa is really to work as the thing that is great, because we have different representation from different countries. Now, one of the things that we have a potential, and I guess after this type of discussion we could have as I would say, a feedback. And one of the major thing, I guess, is about how we could join together our force in order to maybe begin this work, because it's part of the tourism aspect, but also it will be important for us as a country. Then I think it's something great.
Fantastic. I think that the title of today's discussion was co-creating a future. So it's good to have a specific action point to co-create that future. I think also we're actually releasing today or tomorrow a research that we've done on with WIPO, with the World Intellectual Property Organization, which is also part of the UN system, on the value of intellectual property for tourism, and denomination of origin is one of the elements that we've tackled with them. So I think it's a very good starting point for us to say, okay, how can we work together, maybe to help countries identify and go through that process. We also have a strong relationship with FAO, the Food and Agriculture Organization. So I think we will take that point internally and discuss with them, and also with the colleagues to see how can we identify potential areas where we can help first better understand the processes, and maybe bring examples of other countries, how they've done it, and how we can have more denominations of origin for African products. Fantastic. I don't know, Chef Flavien, if you want to also address the issue of the denomination of origins.
Yes, very short, actually, because Seychelles is very small. It's very easy for us to control the incoming and the outgoing. So we have the Seychelles Bureau of Standard, and then we have a quality control department, whereby everything coming in, of course, they are control tested, and then before they go to the market. And because we export quite a lot as well, it goes through this process. But what is very important, like one of my colleagues just said earlier, in the Seychelles, you have a lot of products out there on the streets, in the market. And all these products, you know, they are very good, but of course people are a little bit hesitant, of course, to buy them, because they are, well, we call them street food, so street spices or origins, you know. So there's an organization here in the Seychelles, which is helping actually to get all these producers to get their food recognized, packed, tested, and for them to be placed on the supermarket shelves, and also to export. And actually, I was very surprised last night while I watched TV. They are producing even mozzarella cheese here in the Seychelles. Can you imagine? And of course, they are producing pasta. They are producing different types of spices as well. But like my colleagues have said, you know, if there is a way whereby the producers can be helped, can be supported, we will see that all these products, you know, can be exported to other African countries, and other African countries, their product can also come here because they are controlled. And I think in this way, we can actually share and maintain a very good relationship, whereby future gastronomy sharing can be done.
Thank you very much, Chef Flavien. I think that's a key point, and a very good contribution, because a lot of this work obviously has to be national, and identifying the players and bringing them together, it will be critical. We're running out of time in our panel, and it's time I pass the floor to Kojo, but I didn't want to do that without just giving the opportunity to both our colleagues from Morocco and from Ghana to leave us with a last message in terms of advancing this relationship between gastronomy and tourism. What would you like to see happening more in the future in this area? And if there's any specific activities from your country that you would like to highlight. Mr. Akwazi?
All right, thank you. I believe we need to also look at the issue of adaptation. For example, in Ghana, we eat a lot of spicy food. I like my food with pepper, proper pepper, you know, but it's quite difficult when you have, for example, people coming in and then they say, oh, we've heard so much about, let's say, jollof. And then you give them the jollof, artist has been cooked locally. And they say, this is too spicy, I can't have it. You know, so I think for our chefs, as we work together, let's find a way to adapt to meet the various taste buds of various markets that we serve. And then also the issue of packaging is quite critical. When we're talking about the origin and all that, I mean, there are certain spices that cut across West Africa or even Africa generally. But how do we differentiate? How do we package so that it becomes quite unique to the destination? So for which reason somebody will say, I want probably Ghana pepper or Ghana garlic, but it might be the same as you find anywhere. But how do we package and make it quite unique and different? And above all, I believe that gastronomy has a lot to offer within the entire value chain of tourism. And we're quite excited that it's being put on the front burner by UNWTO. We will be working with our chefs here. I'm quite happy that Chef Isaac is on the panel and Kojo is also on there. So Ghana is today getting a lot of mileage. I believe we can take it from there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kwasi. Mr. Fat, a last comment on this topic before we hand over to Kojo.
Yes, I think that we talked about what we could do together. And there is an initiative that was very strong, and it was a joint initiative for Maghreb countries, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, and Mauritania. That led to the recognition of couscous, which is an emblematic dish of North Africa, as an intangible cultural heritage by UNESCO. And this was in December 2020. Because we think that we have to work together to be very strong and make our all our dishes and all the richness of our gastronomy broadcasted to worldwide, and this is what we should work on as African countries, and make this kind of joint initiative to work together and broadcast all this to the world. That's our aim.
Thank you very much. I think that's a very important point on collaboration. Axel? Yes.
Sandra, sorry, I just want to jump to Mr. Farah just to say that it's really important to upload Morocco and all those countries, because they joined the force. There was 4 countries putting together and to celebrate something common, and it's something that you need to value in Africa. Come people together, and as probably as I mentioned, Africa go without much more than borders, as I mentioned, because Africa is community, is cultural community, then share their tradition and heritage, and they could share it without any border, because border is just geopolitical. And the idea of putting all those countries together is something unique. Then we really need to push out this type of leadership, I will say.
Thank you very much, Axel. I think both comments are very in line with our objective, which is also to create some kind of Africa gastronomy tourism community among all our partners, and each of us has a role to play. And maybe there are opportunities to identify areas of further collaboration on specific products among countries. I finished by thanking so very much both the chefs that have shared their knowledge with us and their vision, Axel, Chef Fabian, Chef Ricardo, Mr. Fad, and Mr. Akwasi. Thank you so much for such an interesting discussion, and especially for giving us action points as we try to build this agenda for supporting as much as we can from the tourism side, the development and integration of gastronomy in the tourism value chain. With that said, it's a great pleasure to pass the floor to Kojo. Kojo is probably very well known to all of you, is a supporter and advisor and communicator at the UNWTO, and he's been doing an amazing job in bringing our work to Africa and the work of Africa to the world. So Kojo, the floor is yours, and I'll leave it to you to take it from here.
Hi, Sandra. Thank you so much for this. And I'm also coming from Windhoek in Namibia. And again, like Elsia said, it coincidentally was the first country that we launched that, UNWTO launched that book with respect to gastronomy. And it's good to see a number of my friends here, Chef Flavian from Seychelles, Akwesi, yourself, and the group out here. So let me just go straight to my point. Chef Isaac, good morning again from here. And if I can ask you from your perspective of as a president of the Chefs Association, your colleagues have mentioned some of the initiatives they would like to do to be able to bring African gastronomy to the fore. But as a president of the Ghanaian Chefs Association, what are you doing yourself to add more value to what you guys are doing in terms of your art?
Chef Isaac, can I ask you to put your camera a little bit down? We don't see you very well. I think your connection is, yeah, I think we're having a little bit of a connection problem there.
Hello.
Yes. Can you hear us, Chef Isaac?
I hope it's okay now.
If you can drop your camera a bit down so we can see you properly. If you can drop your camera just a little bit down. Okay.
I hope it's okay now.
Okay, we're going to manage this one for now. So my question was that your colleagues have put out the number of points we can use in pushing African gastronomy. Now, straight to you as the president of the Ghanaian Chefs Association, what are you doing yourself to be able to make people understand the value of culinary and gastronomy in its own sense?
Yeah, Kojo, like I said, I've heard a lot of discussion from my fellow chefs within Africa, and I'm very excited about this project because if you look at gastronomy in Africa, what my few experience or engaging within the West Africa sub-region through Africa, as well as the world as large, you realize that we are a little bit, in Africa, we are a little bit slowly in terms of promotion and how best we can able to position our cuisine well. Because there's a project that we created, which I'm going to give a very thank to my CEO, Mr. Kwesi Agyeman. He has been one of the instrumental to the Chefs Association of Ghana. And we initiated a project in 2008 for West African Food Festival, which the idea of that project is try to see how
Hello, Chef Isaac.
How best we can able to Saharan Africans are doing. Hello?
No, yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Is it okay now?
Yes, it's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, to see what West African chefs are, or what West Africans are doing. But I realize that we are not interrupting to each other. So there's linkage between this sub-region. So the best thing is to bring them together to see how best we can able to promote our cuisine. And we can't promote our gastronomy without having the basis. So we decided to see how best, together with the Ministry of Tourism through Ghana Tourism Authority, try to have a standard national recipe book that we are going to use from the basics, from the classroom to tourists who are trying to visit even Ghana. So these are some of the things that we are trying to do. But, you know, Kojo, I just want to say something here that we are very excited. And at the end of this project, we wanted to see this project trying to influence policy directions. Because like my CEO said, if you go to most of the chain hotel, from the 5-star to even 3-star hotel, even within West Africa here, you realize that the local cuisine, the indigenous, the food that we have is not being represented there. You understand? And we can only achieve that if we have a policy that is going to enforce this facility to make sure that at least, even if 80% of our local food can be able to represent in this kind of facility, which we don't have. So at the end of the day, we can able to promote individual, can able to discuss, but if we don't try to have policy that can able to enforce them to do that, it will be very difficult for us. We will just promote it within our own people without extending into tourists or other people who are coming to our facility.
So that's a good point that you've made. But again, I mean, you heard Mr. Kusaj making the point that they've been engaging and looking at how they'll make it part of the tourism, draw for Ghana. But if I'm to ask you directly as a president and even for the chefs, because what do you make it much more also attractive, or make it something that people may want to come and experience, because that things have changed from yesteryear. So from the Chefs Association, have you begun some advocacy, some initiative for people to know exactly what are our foods? Because you go to the table with the leaders, but again, from your experience and from the practical side of things, what are the things that you want to bring to the table for people to understand that, yes, food is just more than food, it's also arts, but it's also part of a whole ecosystem?
Yes, I think we are trying our best, working with the Ministry of Tourism. And, if you look at where this direction, we need to always work together with the ministry and other agencies. You understand? Let me give you one example. If you go through within West African sub-region, there's one unique ingredient which we are trying to work on, especially in terms of promotion, and also try to adopt that kind of particular project within Africa. With my few research and my few engaging within West Africa, I realized that something like Bambara beans, we have it in Ghana, Togo, within all this sub-Saharan Africa. Meanwhile, if you come to our breakfast and other stuff in our restaurant, you realize that we are trying to use a lot of baked beans. Meanwhile, we can able to replace it with baked beans for our own people. So we are working very hard with the Ministry of Tourism and Food Research Institute for us to try to make sure how best we can able to package most of our food, as well as able to influence our own people as well as the chefs, so that they can able to position our food well within the sub-region as well as Ghana. Because, if you are talking of gastronomy, there's a whole lot of even job opportunity that we can able to create for our own people. But because most of attention has not drawn to that, a lot of people within Africa today, most of the 5-star facility hotels and other stuff in Ghana here are bringing in a lot of expatriates to come and take our own job. And the reason is that those facilities doesn't have the local representation of our food.
Now, let me just jump onto the point.
What our food is doing.
Okay, now just on that point that you're talking about, obviously employment, and this whole initiative is also part to create awareness, but also something that in the overall analysis is to be able to see how African food can come to the fore, and it has its trickle-down effect. Now, if you're talking about not just yourself, but if you look at the leadership of you, what are you doing for your members? Because people sometimes have the art, the raw art. How do you polish them so that they are they are suitable for the market?
With my own people as well as chefs within Africa as well as Ghana, we are working again with the Ministry of Tourism to try to provide certification projects for the chefs in Ghana, so that we can able to leverage more on our local cuisine. So when we get the certification, so anybody who is trying to enter into Ghana in terms of the chef point of view, you need to go through a process that can able to allow that person to be able to work in Ghana or to be able to work within a certain facility within Africa. So we are working very hard. And within that certification, they will go through a lot of training process and other stuff so that we can able to position our cuisine very well within the African continent.
Excellent. But again, I heard you say a lot with the Ministry of Tourism, Ghana Tourism Authority. But one key player that you could also see, because in terms of not just food, but gastronomy, is to look at cultural experiences where people travel after their trip. They would like to have some experience, I mean, food tours, etc. So you may have to look at partnership with tour operators and all of that. But as we wrap up the conversation, what pledge can you make as a head of the Ghanaian Chef Association in terms of making not just food, but gastronomy itself as part of Ghana's tourism draw?
Hello, could you come again?
No, I was saying that as I wrap up this conversation with you, I want you to make a pledge of what the association and yourself can make to bring gastronomy, culinary, and food arts as part of Ghana's unique tourism offering. What can you say to that, or what can you commit your association to that?
Yeah, you mentioned about tour operators. Let me just emphasize a little on that. As I'm speaking to you, we are working with through Ghana Tourism Federation. We are engaging Tour Operators Union of Ghana so that we can able to package a cooking as a cooking as one of the tourist activity that tourists can able to enjoy when they experience, because realize that the tourists are visiting the facility for just enjoying the food, but how it's being done, it's not there. They don't have any idea about that. So we wanted to take them through such process. And with me as president of Chefs Association of Ghana, we are working very hard with my own people as well as the chefs in Ghana to try to make sure that we position them in such a way that consistency of our preparation or method of cooking can be positioned well. So we are working very hard with various stakeholders to make sure that in terms of education and other stuff, to make sure that Ghanaian chefs can able to even occupy at least one of the multinational hotels in Ghana. So we are working very hard to give them training and other logistics for them to reach to that ladder.
Chef Isaac Saki, thank you so much for your time. But even before I sign up, I would like to, throw these questions to the chefs that we have here, and specifically to Chef Flavian, in terms of how we can work, because I know your book is coming out, but I mean, the UNWTO's African gastronomy book was one step to be able to showcase what the continent has. But as chefs and as professionals, are we able to get other documents that people can read to be able to appraise themselves and understand the different food culture in Africa? This briefly, if you can answer to that, yeah. Your microphone is off. If you can unmute yourself, Chef Flavian. Chef Flavian's microphone, okay. I think Chef Flavian's microphone is off. Can you unmute yourself? Okay, good, perfect, yeah.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now? Sorry
Yes,
about
sir.
that. Anyway, I say hi, nice to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you again, also.
Actually, the book is out. It's here.
Okay, perfect.
So that's the second one. The one I told you that I was going to publish. So that's it. And this book, actually, I published it for the Ministry of Tourism and the Seychelles Tourism Board. And all the recipes in the book are made from fish. Can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
They are made from fish, which are not very popular in the Seychelles and are not used much in the hotels and restaurants, because most of the hotels and restaurants in the Seychelles, they use all the first quality fish, like the red snapper, the job, etc. But they don't use the mackerel, the swordfish, the bonitos. These are not used. So the Ministry of Tourism and the Seychelles Tourism Board, at that time, the Minister Saint-Ange was there. He asked me to write a cookery book based on all these fish which are not popular. And I devised all the recipes, the Creole recipes myself. I wrote them myself and I took all the photographs myself before I took it to the hotels for them to try. So a lot of the hotels here in the Seychelles are using all the dishes, all the restaurants are using them as well, and it's for free of charge. So that's one. There's another book coming out now. It is from vegetables from the Seychelles, local dishes of vegetables from the Seychelles. And this book will also be used as a marketing tool of our gastronomy. So I can say that by next year, you will have 3 of my books, 2 made from fish, 1 from vegetables, on the market with the Ministry of Tourism and the Seychelles Tourism Board, marketing the gastronomy of the Seychelles through visuals and through a process of how to do it. And what is very important, Kojo, apart from the marketing and using of all these culinaries for tourism promotion, all the proceeds from the sales of the books are going to charities.
Okay.
So we are helping charities as well. And what we've done as well, some charities like Cancer Concern, like Alzheimer's Association, we don't sell the books for them. We gave them the books for them to sell themselves and for them to market the gastronomy of the Seychelles. And the revenue, they use it, of course, for their clients. Now, going forward, the Chefs Association of the Seychelles was very active before COVID. But with COVID now, of course, we are not active at all. But if all goes well, when everything comes back, we intend to actually go to the schools, of course, whenever there are fairs, promotional fairs in the Seychelles, we would like to actually contribute by showing and displaying to the locals and also to the tourists coming into the Seychelles the varieties of excellent culinaries that we have in Seychelles and from Africa.
No, thank you so much. I think that's a brilliant idea. And tourism, obviously, is a force for good. So in all aspects of it, we're using just not as a gastronomy on its own, but the entire chain to make impact. Sandra, I'll hand over to you at this point. Thank you.
Very much, Kojo. Thank you for that important discussion also. We're not only about how we include the value of gastronomy in the hotels, as we were talking before, but also how to develop new products so that such as cooking experiences or tours to the locations where products are developed. Most of us are very familiar with the already known products which are strong in Africa: coffee, cacao. They're all in our imagination already. So that can be a very good start to also open up to other tours and experiences on the ground to learn more about African gastronomy and about how to cook it. I think there was a very important point as well that you made on the issue of training and human resources development, and how do we make sure that we contribute to that development. As I was mentioning in the beginning, UNWTO focus on gastronomy tourism as part of our agenda for Africa as started last year. Unfortunately, we've been hit by the pandemic, so this is our way to bring the world this discussion, but we do expect to continue also reinforcing the issue of training as we work with different organizations which are strong in the issue of training and human resources development. So for us, that's a very important point. We've also discussed the issue of bringing the gastronomy tourism to the hotel chains. And I think that's a very important point I would like to leave here today as part of the wrap up of this event. And also the issue of valuing the products, working to have more products in Africa with denomination of origin, which can definitely not only add value to the product, but bring benefits in terms of the image and the positioning of those products. The importance of working on the inventory at national level, because often there's a lot of ingredients and a lot of techniques and a lot of knowledge that is not put in value. So first point to work on, and to end with to really make sure that we work, as Axel was mentioning, within the ecosystem, because each player has a specific role and we need to be able to bring them all together. Also very interesting, I think, the experiences of developing specific products for the tourism authorities, as Chef Lavien said. It's a way to reach out to tourists directly in the moment where they touch the destination and throughout their journey. And I think that's a very important point. With that said, I would close it from my side. Just thanking everyone, thanking Koja for being here, our panelists, Chef Isaac as well. And also to remind you that this is just the first edition of a series of webinars that UNWTO will be having during the whole month of May, dedicated to the links between tourism and gastronomy. We will continue this discussion next week, so put it on your agenda. We will be talking next week on this same time. So for those who are interested to continue following us, we will be waiting for you. And with that said, I pass over to my colleague Elsia to close, and thank you for the really important inputs for this discussion, which we will surely take forward in our development of this specific program. Thank you everyone once again, and Elsia, the floor is yours. Thank you everyone once again, and Elsia, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sandra. As you said, I think you beautifully wrapped up all the points that was discussed today. I took away some of the key things, especially when we talk about the ingredients, but you did recall at the beginning, for example, that couscous has been recognized as an intangible heritage, and a lot of the North African countries from our region, this is a key ingredient in the gastronomy. And also the importance of continuously to work with FAO, which in the subsequent webinars that we will be hosting, we will have them with us also to further bring that discussion across. But I think I saw a couple of comments or remarks in the chats also about the role of associations. I think when we launched the book, it was not just the individual chefs that are appearing there. The process was a lengthy process. We went through the ministries, the tourism boards, which ultimately led us to the chefs that are part of associations, as well as Chef Isaac has been underscoring the initiatives they are doing together as an association. But we do see that more and more gastronomy is really becoming a central part of the cultural journey and experience that our visitors receive when they go anywhere across the world, not only to our region. And for us, the commitment is to continue to help to promote the gastronomy from our region in the various forms. This is only one part of the activities that we have lined up. So as Sandra mentioned, we will have further discussion throughout this whole month of May. And we are very excited to be able to give the opportunity to other chefs from other countries to share the experience, but not only chefs, because ultimately in the different webinars, you will get the chance to experience all the different food bloggers that are out there, that they are also pushing forward the various aspects of this thematic. So once again, thank you to all who made time for us today, all the chefs, even the CEO of the Tourism Board of Ghana. He knows that this is part of a bigger project that we're working on, as we mentioned at the beginning, forming part of the Brand Africa thematic. So with this, I will end here and look forward to the next session. And you're all invited to please connect again, because we will be touching on different aspects of this topic of gastronomy. Thank you, and all the best to all of you.
Thank you, everyone, and see you next week on the 11th at the same time to discuss how we link farm to table in gastronomy in Africa. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Goodbye.
Bye. Bye.